Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about the changes and upgrades I've done to Blackflame Chaos Chronomancer. Starting with our clearing skills, we no longer use Essence Contagion, and Dark Effigy. Instead, we use Impending Doom and Doidere's Undoing with Despair. These two support gems allow our Despair to cast Curse Ground, and because of the Curse Ground limit is 2, thanks to Spell Cascade, the third ground disappears and this triggers an explosion. And on top of that, the Weather is Undoing spawns these little frogs here, and these go to the enemies and explode. Yeah, we reduce the clearing skill from 3 to 1. All you have to do is just keep spamming Despair and enemies explode. Basically, that's it. That's a big W. Total skills have reduced a lot too. We have 6 skills to use now. You don't have to use Time Snap, obviously. Time Freeze is for bosses, Convalescence is for emergency, Despair, Clearing, I already said, Incinerate is for bossing, and Sigil of Power is to buff these 2 skills. So our damage skills reduced to 2. We previously had to use Essence Drain and Contagion, followed by Dark Effigy to clear even small packs. Now we just have one button and the clear is much better. The build has gone through a lot of changes. You may see that we no longer use Curse Inoculation and have very low energy shield as well. That is fixed by Recoup. We have a lot of Recoup thanks to Sacrosanctum body armor. Our Recoup applies to energy shield as well. So combined with this flask here, on demand we have more than 100% recoup, which is basically we heal more than the damage we take. This is to prevent the shotgun damage that we take from clearing maps, right? We are running 4 unique items and we don't have much energy shield. However, recoup and thanks to phased form, recoup feels much better. Phase form basically prevents the one shots from big hits from bosses if you get hit, and recoup is just regenerating our life and energy shield at the same time. So unless you get like insane amount of damage in a short time frame, you can become effectively immortal. Onto the equipment. As I said, we have Sacrosanctum, right? We bring the Vortex Mask back with +5 to all charge skills and increase mana cost efficiency only for the corrupts, right? Our despair costs a lot while clearing, and if you don't have enough uh, cost efficiency, it can feel quite bad. This +5 to curse skills increase our despair level. I don't have anything related to Prism of Belief for despair. All the level scaling comes from my gear. That's it. We are at level 37 despair. You can use a Prism of Belief with +3 despair skills and get this to level 40. The damage increase, I believe, is around double from level 36 to level 40, and you can't scale it from 40 to higher. The level cap is 40. Then we have Palm of the Dreamer. This is not mandatory, however, this can trigger the explosions from despair to clear screen, right? You can't have a bunch of enemies stacked on top of you or like at the side of the map. You cast Despair, Impending Doom explodes enemies, and Palm of the Dreamer has the Gloom Shrine effect, which does like chaos damage to everything near the enemies. Like they explode like a quarter of their max life with chaos damage, which is pretty nice. Again, this is not needed, but it really helps for clearing. You can still go with a +2 all spell skills and like spell damage, chaos damage, focus instead, and have more area of effect for curses, which also helps for clearing, and your despair is closer to level 40, so you have more damage for clearing, right? It's a double-edged sword. You can make your own decision. Again, this is not needed, but it's really appreciated in the build. Windscreen boots. This is now mandatory in the build. What this does is your curses have no activation delay over here. This allows our despairs to activate instantly, so our cascade can remove one of the areas and trigger the impending doom explosion. That is why this build is needed. We still use the Blackflame ring, and we can use a normal gloves here, a rare gloves. The runes here are still the same, but you can also go with a gloves that can roll DK modifiers with the Cutlass Gloom, right? This allows you to get like magnitude of ailments, increase ignite magnitude, like you can get curse magnitude. However, fixing your resistances comes first, and this also reduces the total energy shield by a lot. As you can see here, we get much more squishier. So I just wanted to tell you that you can do this. However, keep in mind that you will be much more vulnerable to enemies. For our belt, this is pretty important, I have to say. Levignus spirits and our belt are the main mana regen source here. I have got a belt with a lot of resistances here, right? To fix my resistances. I'm pretty tight on resistances. And this is a linen belt which gives me mana recovery from flasks. And I have another modifier with mana recovery rate from flasks. This helps a lot on mapping, and it just feels good, right? I have 161 mana cost at my despair, and my mana regen is above that. So, like every second, I can cast my despair, and I don't have to worry about my mana at all. This is really good, and feels much smoother during mapping. That is it with the equipments. The charms, I'm still running Ignite Charm. Ignited Ground actually makes your recoup like really slow. So I would tell you guys to actually not run Ignited Ground maps, but you can still run it. Be careful. You need the Ignite Charm 100%. Then we have the Amethyst Charm, the unique one. The 50% of chaos damage you prevent when hit recoup as life and mana. So this is just a layer against chaos damage. Again, we don't have cursed inoculation. This really helps for chaos damage survivability. I also still have the freeze charm. If I get frozen, this just activates and starts my energy shield recharge, right? And I don't get frozen, which is a big W. That is it for the equipments. My staff and wand is still the same. And that's it. Onto the passive tree. The passive tree has gone through a lot of changes, starting with the ascendancy. Remember when I said Temple Rift is like a really good thing in this build? Now that we have so much life recovery and energy shield from recoup and just mana recovery, we don't need this anymore. Instead, I wanted to take Sands of Time and make our Despair cast faster and have more area of effect, which is pretty nice. And the routing for our passive tree has changed a lot as well. I have decided to remove the energy shield recharge stuff because we're using recoup, and I decided to go with recoup speed effects here. Right, we have recoup here, we have recoup effect and recoup speed here. So from these and from my Sacrosanctum, I already have 82% recoup as life. That includes our jewels. I have a Heart of the Well diamond with recoup and recoup speed effect. These two are mandatory in our Heart of the Well diamond, and anything else you can get for the build is just appreciated. Like you don't have to get these, but recoup speed effect and recoup is very important on your Heart of the Well diamond. I'm still using a +3 to incinerate skills, and we still have the From Nothing diamond for Oasis over here, so we get a lot of ignite magnitude and damaging ailments damage faster, right? We can't path over here, so the build had to change a lot. Our impending doom and the weather is undoing actually count as triggers, right? Triggered spell. So triggered spells deals increased damage, right? And this also has mana cost efficiency. This is really good. I added the Wither Wheel over here, which is pretty nice again. I also have some elemental damage recouped as energy shield. So from basically these 4 nodes and recoup from life I have about 100% energy shield recoup, which is pretty nice. These here is normal, pretty same. This wheel used to belong like the global, but now it is for the first weapon set. And I decided to pick these nodes over here, spell area damage. And these actually increase our impending doom damage, which has spell and AoE tag, and this increases the damage, which is pretty nice. And that is pretty much it for the passive tree. As I said, we don't use chaos inoculation anymore, and we went with recoup for our defenses because even with a focus will lack energy shield a lot, right? So the best way I thought for defenses was I could do recoup or I could stack energy shield, and with vortex we are losing our helmet energy shield, right? Windscreen boots also have very low energy shield, obviously. So we are lacking energy shield, and I thought we can use recoup for defenses, and that's pretty much it. Now onto our skill gems. Time snap, obviously you don't have to use this. I put recovery and second wind here so I can have more uses to, like, say if I take damage or I use time freeze, I run out of my time freezes, I use time snap and get my cooldowns back. It is useful, you don't have to use it. time freeze, again, still the same stuff, area, cooldown recovery, and the prolonged duration, so it lasts longer. Then we have impurity from Shrine Scepter. Anything you put here doesn't actually consume your spirit. So as you can see, I have 12 spirit reserve that I can use. I put this here, it costs 30 spirit. My spirit doesn't go down. So you can pretty much slot anything you want here. I put mana regen and spell damage increase with full energy shield. Sigil of power, cast speed, area of effect, so the area is much bigger. Cooldown recovery rate and prolonged duration, so it lasts longer. I have 18 seconds on my Sigil of power. Now despair. We have spell cascade, so we can create 3 areas. Impending doom. Efficiency, so it costs less. Ashes Radiance is pretty much really good. If you don't have this, get it. Like, it's really good. This allows us to shock enemies from our chaos damage. We use despair for clearing and to curse bosses, right? Until we use incinerate, we can actually shock enemies so they take increased damage. This is just a really good bonus. And we have Doiler's Undoing, which creates the Curse Grounds, and it also spawns our little frog buddies over here. Incinerate also has gone through some changes. I have removed Zob's Pyre and Extraction. Instead, I put Concentrated Area for more damage, more area damage, and since Incinerate also has AoE tag, it gets the damage increase. Zenith, you can use level 1 here as well. You don't have to use Zenith 2. Since it doesn't cost mana, we can just have this, like, this uptime. But as you can see, the Zenith 2 increases our damage right here when we have like 90% of our mana. Skyrim Flame, same, more ignite magnitude. Burgeon 2, more damage while we are channeling, and consider casting, just more damage. The damage increase here is actually insane. I got like, I think 20% damage increase with those changes, so keep that in mind. Blasphemy, you can put heightened curse here if you have the spirit. I don't have spirit on my amulet, and I'm just going with the spirit from Sacrosanctum. If you don't have the Shrine Scepter, you want these two not in your build, and that is it. You can pretty much use the spirit from this Sacrosanctum armor, right? That's pretty much it. Then we have Withering Prisons to wither the enemies. They take increased chaos damage, if I remember correctly. Yes, 5% increased chaos damage taken. And I think my wither can go up to 80%. So that's just a big bonus. Convalescence, you take damage, your recoup isn't enough, you pop this and you just don't die. Emergency button. Elemental Conflux, if you have Palm of the Dreamer, this one gives us more damage, which can give the which can inflict ailments on enemies, and if we inflict ailments on enemies, we have 25% chance to spawn a remnant from mana remnants, which can overflow our mana for easier time during mapping. I have Harmonic Remnants 2 here and Remnant Points 1, so we can get the mana instantly. that is pretty much it for the build. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I will be answering them one by one. I'll be leaving a 200% Delirium Breach run I've done. The whole thing took me a lot, so I'm just gonna cut the breach parts and put it there. I also have a normal T15 3 tablet run. It went pretty good, so you guys can check that out for gameplay. I will leave some boss footage as well for our Incinerate. See ya in the next one, and peace.